You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. I have a guest joining me here in a moment, Andrew McNair. He is a philanthropist, and he's also got a podcast. He's author. He's got a new book out called The Giving Crisis. Here's the thing that's really neat about it. I know a ton of people who are involved in nonprofit boards, and he is a superhero for those folks because he helps them raise money. And one of the ways he does that is he talks to other people about how they should be giving. And there's a giving crisis right now. That's why he's got the book, The Giving Crisis. Also, coming up here in just a bit, we've got another guest that'll be joining us later in the hour. Craig Nelson is the author of a book called V is for Victory, and it's about World War II, so we'll be chatting with him coming up as well. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour on a Friday.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit with Andrew McNair. He is an author, and he's a podcaster, and he's a philanthropist, and he's done a lot of really cool stuff. But the thing that I think is the coolest, his latest book here, The Giving Crisis, Helping Average Givers Become Everyday Philanthropists. The thing that I like about this, Andrew, is you're teaching other people how to do something really, really good and bless others. I love that.
Yes, I'm swimming upstream to help people give away their money, which sounds pretty radical.
And I love the concept, though. I think it's a really cool concept. And you know, there are a lot of people listening that are in a situation where they're going, man, I wish I had money to give. But there's other people listening, they're going, hey, I've been there, I've done that. And now they're in a unique place to be able to help and pay it forward, right?
Exactly. And that's what my book's all about, is teaching how families can give more radically than they probably initially thought they could.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your past, because it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows for you, has it?
It is not. I've had this tug of war with greed for a long time, and luckily I found the way to snip the cord.
And that is part of the process that we're going to talk about in the book, but there's so much more to it, isn't there?
There is. So my story is I was handed a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I don't know if you've ever read that book, but it's a great personal finance book. And I started actually waiting tables at Denny's, interning at a financial firm every day after school. It was like a Mr. Miyagi moment at 14. And he taught me everything about finance. And believe it or not, by the time I was 16, I'd saved up $62,000.
Nice.
Not bad for a punk kid, right? And then 2008 happened, and I watched family after family come into that financial office, literally losing half their 401k. And I thought, this is the best time to go from being just a saver to an investor. So I took my hard-earned life savings, and it turned into $147,000. So you know how it was like being 18. I thought I had the Midas touch.
Yeah.
So I thought everything I'd touched would turn to gold. But luckily, fortunately, at the age of 19, you would find me screaming into my pillow and punching my mattress because I ended up losing every single penny.
Oh.
And this small voice was over my shoulder saying, do more, make more, save more, invest more. And it was always egging me on. But when I had connected my self-worth with my net worth and it was all gone, I found myself really bankrupt spiritually, emotionally, and financially too.
And I'm glad that you realize that those things are not necessarily tied as closely together as we might think, are they?
No, they aren't. And so really, I made a promise that if I ever had a chance at success again, and when I would save and invest in the future, I would do it differently, that every time my income would grow, I would give more and more away. And today, I've given most of my net worth away and over 50% of my income every year. And so that's what I encourage families to do, and I teach families how to do that. And the whole point of the Everyday Philanthropist movement is that you don't have to be some rich old person to give. You just have to be an everyday philanthropist by giving a large percentage of your income or net worth away, and anyone can do that.
Absolutely. Now, you've talked about giving, and that's a good G word, but we've also talked a little bit about greed, and that's not such a good that's a not so good G word. But you've got some tips on how to combat that. If that's something somebody is struggling with greed, you've got some ideas on things they can do to kind of overcome that, right?
I do. And it starts with what I recommend, which is obviously, giving radically. One way to take the air out of the sails of greed is to give radically. And that's what I've done, is that sacrificially I've been giving every time my income grows. Let's say I get a pay raise, I get a promotion. Instead of saying, wow, 5% all for me, I'll split it. I'll say, we're going to give 3% more away this year, and we're going to increase our standard of living by 2%. And so the other thing that I teach families to do is set a line in the sand. So whatever that number is for your household, maybe it's 90,000, 150,000. Once you reach that point, you won't keep on moving the goalpost. That you'll say, after I make 150, that's enough for me and my family to live comfortably. Everything we start making above that, we're going to start giving that away. For me, someone of faith, I really encourage families to take a mission trip to really recalibrate their life on what is discretionary versus really mandatory. And then this is again a spiritual thing for me, is I also repent and fast. Like, greed is not something that you want to have mark your life. And so that's one way to strip your life of it.
I love that. And again, the new book is out now, The Giving Crisis, Helping Average Givers Become Everyday Philanthropists. Where is the best place to find this book, Andrew?
Yeah, you can go to richyoungandpowerful.com/book, richyoungpowerful.com/book, or you can go to Amazon and type in The Giving Crisis and it'll pop up.
I will throw a link to make it really easy to find. Andrew, thank you for your time. I appreciate it, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Again, Andrew McNair, the book, The Giving Crisis, Helping Average Givers Become Everyday Philanthropists. It's available now. I've got a link to it in the show notes for today at JohnAndHeidiShow.com.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for This Day in Sioux Falls History, brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page and Sunny 93.3. It was on this day, May 26, 1891, during the trial of the century in our budding little town, a young Native American man named Plenty Horses is found not guilty of the murder of a young white Army captain, Edward Casey. This might be one of the most important days in Sioux Falls history. Now, despite what you might have heard of our past and race relations in the Dakota Territory and all other talking points, at least in Sioux Falls, even way back in the 1800s, a young Native American man who had killed a white soldier was given a fair trial, protected by the local police, embraced by the Sioux Falls community, and ultimately found not guilty. Justice was served. That is the Sioux Falls I belong to and I love and I proudly share with the world. Everyone gets a fair shake, a chance to show up and put your best foot forward and share their gift with the world. It was never disputed that Plenty Horses was the one who pulled the trigger, while in other parts of the state, that was enough. That was all they needed to know, to condemn Plenty Horses. But in Sioux Falls, justice came first. This day in Sioux Falls history has been brought to you by SiouxFallsFunPage.com and Sunny 93.3.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, May 26th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets cheered results from NVIDIA, proving the dawn of the AI age is here. The company's results and guidance are mind-boggling and bode well for investors, but may not be the signal for an economic boom. The shift to AI is just that, a shift, superseding previous technology already in place. In that light, the AI boom is the next phase in tech and not a new industry to drive and sustain growth. Regarding NVIDIA's share price spike, the stock is unlikely to go much higher than it is now, at least without significant market consolidation or correction. Tech stocks rallied on the news, but the S&P 500 and NASDAQ Composite remain below critical levels. Broader economic conditions weigh on equities and provide a headwind for the market. This means equities are more likely to move sideways than not in the near to midterm, and long-term trading range could also be in play. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.